Becoming unstoppable and achieving success in your career, relationships, and life starts with your mindset. If you're not where you want to be, the key to change lies in how you train your mind. There is a step-by-step process to develop an unstoppable mindset, and by applying certain techniques, you can transform the way you approach challenges and opportunities. One powerful method is immersion in the moment. Often, the mind is scattered, caught up in past failures or future anxieties. The ability to focus entirely on the present is a skill that leads to higher performance and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius suggested, even the simplest acts contain the whole of nature. By concentrating on something as small as the weight and temperature of a coffee cup, you train your mind to be fully engaged. The most successful people are ruthlessly present, dedicating their attention completely to whatever they are doing. The past is gone, the future is uncertain. Your power exists only in the present, and learning to harness it is crucial. Another essential technique is understanding spheres of control. Imagine 3 circles. The innermost contains everything you directly control, such as your thoughts, effort, and reactions. The middle contains what you can influence but not fully control, like other people's responses or project outcomes. The outermost consists of everything beyond your control, such as economic downturns or others' decisions. Highly successful individuals focus their energy on their inner circle, strategically invest in their sphere of influence, and let go of everything else. This mindset prevents wasted energy and frustration, allowing you to remain focused and powerful. Developing first principles thinking is another way to strengthen the mind. In a world filled with complexity, many people rely on conventional wisdom without questioning its validity. Instead, break things down to their fundamental truths and build solutions from the ground up. Socrates challenged assumptions, and adopting this mindset enables you to cut through mental clutter and see opportunities where others see obstacles. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but this approach leads to innovative solutions and greater clarity. A practical mindset shift comes from adopting the fate clause. Rigid expectations often lead to frustration because life is unpredictable. Instead of saying, "I will complete this project by Friday," acknowledge reality's uncertainty by mentally adding fate permitting. This isn't an excuse. It's a form of strategic realism that allows for unwavering commitment without being emotionally derailed by unforeseen circumstances. The Stoics use this approach to remain both driven and resilient. Another powerful technique is the premeditation of adversity. While most people avoid thinking about potential failure, the unstoppable mind does the opposite. Before any significant event, visualize potential setbacks, technical failures, travel delays, or team disruptions. By anticipating challenges in advance, you strip them of their power, making yourself more adaptable and prepared when difficulties arise. As Seneca put it, the person who anticipates troubles is not thrown off when they come. This mental rehearsal ensures you're ready to act, while others are still processing their shock. Creating an ideal sage is another effective way to guide decision-making. Many people choose flawed role models who eventually disappoint them. Instead, construct an imaginary figure who embodies wisdom and virtue, the best possible version of a human being. When faced with tough choices, ask yourself what this ideal advisor would do. This technique helps transcend limitations imposed by existing examples, allowing you to strive toward the highest version of yourself. Shaping narratives consciously is another crucial skill. When something negative happens, the mind tends to jump to the worst possible interpretation. Instead of assuming a missed promotion means failure, force yourself to generate 3 alternative explanations. Perhaps leadership sees greater potential in you, or they believe another role would be a better fit. This practice breaks the illusion that your immediate reaction is the objective truth. By training your mind to generate multiple perspectives, you avoid emotional paralysis and make more empowered decisions. Decision-making itself becomes easier when framed in terms of personal character rather than outcomes. Instead of weighing endless pros and cons, ask, what kind of person do I want to become? This was a mental model Marcus Aurelius used. He focused less on predicting results and more on the values he wanted to embody. Choosing based on character simplifies complex decisions and leads to consistent growth. Connecting daily actions to long-term rewards is another practice of unstoppable minds. Many people fail to see how their present efforts shape their future. Whether it's working out, studying, or tackling a tough project, take a moment to visualize the long-term benefits. This technique transforms discipline from a burden into an investment. As Epictetus emphasized, greatness comes from choosing temporary discomfort in exchange for lasting rewards. A broader perspective can be gained through cosmic insignificance therapy. Small frustrations, a critical email, an awkward conversation can consume emotional energy unnecessarily. One way to counter this is by zooming out. Imagine viewing Earth from space, then from the moon, then from another galaxy. The further you step back, the more trivial most problems seem. Marcus Aurelius reflected on how brief and small human life is within the vastness of time. This perspective grants clarity, allowing you to focus only on what truly matters. Finally, embracing voluntary hardship strengthens resilience. Most people avoid discomfort, making them fragile. The unstoppable mind does the opposite, intentionally seeking controlled hardship to build mental and physical toughness. Seneca practiced this by periodically living with minimal comforts, ensuring he was prepared for any adversity. By deliberately challenging yourself, you expand your ability to handle life's inevitable difficulties with strength and confidence. Mastering these techniques creates an unstoppable mindset, enabling you to navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and build the life you want. Possessions, eating the simplest meals, and sleeping on the floor. Why? Because when you voluntarily experience what you fear, those fears lose their power. You could follow this example by choosing a specific hardship once a week. Skip breakfast, sleep without a pillow, or wear your least comfortable clothes. Each time, observe how quickly your initial resistance fades. What you're doing is training your nervous system to stay calm during adversity. When others panic at the first sign of hardship, you'll remain clear-headed and focused. Most people wait until they are in the middle of a crisis to try managing their emotions. That's like waiting until you're drowning to learn how to swim. A strong mind practices emotional steadiness before it's needed. During calm moments, select a specific upcoming challenge, whether it's a difficult conversation, a high-pressure presentation, or a complex decision. Then deliberately rehearse maintaining your inner tranquility during that exact scenario. The key is not to visualize success or failure, but to focus singularly on preserving your emotional equilibrium regardless of external circumstances. When emotions hijack everyone else's thinking, your clarity becomes your superpower. True strength isn't about never feeling disturbed. It's about returning to center instantly. When someone frustrates you, most people immediately fortify their position and view the other person as wrong or malicious. This creates unnecessary conflict, draining energy and effectiveness. A strong mind does something radical. It deliberately adopts the opposing perspective with maximum charity. As Epictetus taught, our distress comes not from others' actions, but from our judgments about them. The next time you feel friction with someone, pause and ask, if I assumed this person was reasonable, intelligent, and well-intentioned, how might they see this situation? Force yourself to construct a generous interpretation of their position. Sometimes wisdom means doing the uncomfortable thing. When you master this, you'll waste less energy on unnecessary conflicts and maintain better mental clarity. Most people live in what Seneca called the prison of other people's opinions. They make decisions based on approval, recognition, and social standing rather than true principles. This leaves them vulnerable to manipulation and prevents authentic action. A strong mind deliberately practices imagining complete reputation collapse. What would you do if everyone misunderstood you? If your social standing vanished overnight? If your name became synonymous with failure? Spend 5 minutes visualizing how you would continue to live virtuously despite total reputation destruction. Notice which actions would remain unchanged and which were merely performed for approval. This practice reveals how much of your life is authentically yours versus how much is controlled by others' perceptions. When you realize you could continue living with virtue and purpose, even without external validation, you gain true inner freedom. Most people either focus exclusively on themselves or scatter their energy trying to solve every global problem. Both approaches lead to ineffectiveness. A strong mind uses a more strategic framework for relationships. Imagine concentric circles, self at the center, then family, community, country, and humanity. Each requires different types of attention and responsibility. Think about how you're doing in each category. How are you nurturing your health and wisdom, supporting your family, contributing to your community, fulfilling your responsibilities, and even advancing humankind? This structure clarifies your moral responsibilities. As Marcus Aurelius observed, we are social beings with duties to the whole. The person who excels understands their precise role in each circle and balances their attention accordingly. By mapping your responsibilities, you create focused impact where others create either selfishness or chaos. Most people are trapped in an endless cycle of desire. They crave something, acquire it, feel satisfied for a moment, and then fixate on the next thing. This hedonic treadmill exhausts them with diminishing returns. A strong mind breaks this pattern by studying it directly. Take 5 minutes now to list material pleasures you once intensely craved, but now barely notice. The smartphone you once excitedly unboxed, the car you once proudly drove, the clothes you once couldn't wait to wear. Be ruthlessly honest about how quickly these objects faded from thrilling to ordinary to invisible. Seeing this pattern clearly helps you make wiser choices about where to invest your energy and expectations. As Epictetus noted, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This technique helps you appreciate what you already have. When someone wrongs you, most people immediately assign malice or incompetence to the other person. Their mind constructs a narrative where they are the innocent victim and the other person is the villain. This reactive thinking creates unnecessary suffering. A strong mind finds the most generous possible interpretation of others' actions. As Epictetus taught, people act as seems right to them based on their understanding, regardless of how flawed that understanding might be. The next time someone disappoints or frustrates you, pause and ask, what virtuous reason might explain this behavior? Perhaps they are protecting something valuable, acting from incomplete information, or responding to pressure you can't see. This isn't naive optimism. It's strategic empathy that prevents you from compromising your own values through reactive behavior. When you respond to others' poor choices with virtue rather than vengeance, you maintain your power and clarity. A strong mind holds steady when others spiral into reactive patterns. Most people begin their day reactively, checking notifications, responding to others' priorities, and immediately surrendering their mental sovereignty. By midday, they're completely adrift. A strong mind starts differently. Before anything else, it issues a specific rule targeting its biggest psychological vulnerability. Think of a command addressing your particular weakness. Today, I will not seek validation through social media. Today, I will speak my truth without apology. Today, I will not procrastinate. To make it stick, write it down, speak it aloud, and make it non-negotiable. What makes this powerful is its specificity. You're not trying to improve everything at once, just the exact psychological pattern that undermines your potential the most. When you commit each morning, you set the tone for everything that follows. Most people end their day either cataloging failures or vaguely acknowledging successes, missing a critical opportunity for psychological reinforcement. A strong mind uses a better strategy. Before sleep, it identifies one challenging event from the day and meticulously imagines how much worse it could have gone without wisdom or virtuous action. This practice builds genuine appreciation for your own virtuous choices. Most people try changing too many habits at once, spreading their willpower too thin and ultimately changing nothing. Others focus on habits with minimal cascading effects, working hard for isolated improvements. A strong mind takes a different approach. It identifies one small, sustainable action that, if performed consistently, creates cascading positive effects. This leads to exponential growth in character development. Each keystone habit makes the next one easier to implement, building unstoppable momentum. As Aristotle observed, excellence is not an act, but a habit. Each positive action reinforces and amplifies every other. This is how you become unstoppable, one strategically smart action at a time. The journey to becoming unstoppable isn't about dramatic transformations. It's about precise mental techniques practiced consistently until they become your default operating system. These strategies, drawn from ancient wisdom and modern psychology, address every aspect of mental sovereignty, from breaking free of reputation seeking to commanding your attention, from strategic discomfort to emotional resilience. The key to success is that these techniques compound over time. You need to keep doing them to see results. Many people believe success comes from external circumstances, having the right connections, catching lucky breaks, or possessing natural talent. But history shows something different. The most accomplished individuals across every field share one common trait: an unstoppable mindset that refuses to yield. Your potential has always been there, waiting. These techniques are the keys to unlocking it. Start with just one. Practice it until it becomes second nature, then add another. Within months, you'll barely recognize the person you used to be. This is the essence of an unstoppable mindset. Not that nothing ever knocks you down, but that nothing keeps you down. In upcoming discussions, we'll explore how additional ancient Stoic wisdom complements these lessons. Engage with these ideas, reflect on them, and share your experiences. As Marcus Aurelius said, look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will simply look. The unstoppable mind is built one technique at a time. The only question is, will you begin today?